What's good? It's been a minute. Welcome to the latest edition of Chop It Up with Lorenza. I'm your host. Man, it's good to be back with you guys once again. Man, it felt like it's been a year, but basically I just took off the month of February. I treated that shit like MLK Day, and I had that whole month off. But mind you, it's been so many things that have happened, be it sports, politics, nigga, war in Europe. The fuck? Yeah, man, it's been some real interesting things going on. But the first thing I'd like to tackle or discuss a little bit now that I'm back is the Brian Flores situation in the NFL. A lot of you already know that Brian Flores was the former head coach of the Miami Dolphins. After Brian Flores was let go, Brian Flores decided to take that shit to trial. By taking that shit to trial, Brian Flores is in a position like no one else has ever been as far as the NFL is concerned. He decided that he was going to sue the NFL and put pen to paper or put it in the black and white that, hey, this is how they're operating. He is suing he is suing because of the hiring practices. First and foremost, a lot of you that watch football, you know about the Rooney Rule. You know about an interview that takes place or has to take place with a minority candidate before you make your hire. Brian Flores' situation seems to be that people, specifically Bill Belichick, reached out to him to congratulate him on the job, but he had the wrong Brian. The Brian that he meant to text was actually a guy that just had an interview and was going to be hired for the team that Bill Belichick thought that Brian Flores had already interviewed for. But be that as it may, the interview hadn't happened yet. So basically, Brian Flores went into that room knowing that they had already made the decision, but he went in there anyway. Like he sucked that shit up and went into a sham interview. A lot of people aren't talking about that, man. You ever had to suck up some pride to go do some shit you didn't want to do to perform? Basically, that's what that man did. He went in there because he knew what he had off in the tuck. During this time, the Houston, I don't even know, I often call them dudes the Houston Astros, the Houston Texans, decided not to hire him. They went with Lovie Smith, and sure as you know, definitely his situation with Miami had something to do with him not getting that job, which is a well-deserved job. He is now a linebackers coach with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and go figure, the Rooney Rule was created after that family's name. Now, I will say about the Rooney Rule or the Rooney specifically, uh, I don't know how genuine they are as people. I don't. I really don't have no clue how genuine they are as people because there's one or two ways you can look at the Rooney Rule as far as the Rooneys putting this shit in order. Mind you, Johnny Cochran was about to sue the NFL because there was no black coaches, right? Okay, cool. So the Rooney Rule was implemented. Now, let's say the Rooney Rule was something that the Rooneys had always thought about, but it isn't. They really created the rule after they was wowed by Brian Flores. I mean by Mike Tomlin. If I'm not mistaken, you know, I reserve the right to change how I'm saying what I'm saying. But as far as the facts, I think I have. This is how I'm going about this situation. Okay, he wowed them in an interview, hence the Rooney Rule, all that good stuff. Cool. That's all fine and dandy if you look at it that way. Or they could have been in a situation where it seems like, hey, we're about to get sued by Johnny Cochran. Act fast. I got a way that we won't be sued. How about I do this right here? Let's create the Rooney Rule. Now that I said that, now consider the fact that they might have hired Brian Flores because it's one of those not me situations. Not me, but it's y'all. And because you are part of the group, the Pittsburgh Steelers are no different to me at all. Like Mike Tomlin has a job because they don't fire coaches for real. They've had like three, maybe four coaches in the entire existence of the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's an anomaly. That's like that's a prime example of why you shouldn't point out individual black success to talk about what's going on with black people as a whole. That is a damn anomaly. That is a good football coach that ended up in Pittsburgh coaching with the defense that they had, him being a great defensive coach, but with the players that they had on defense and the players that they kept getting, and the fact that he had Ben Roethlisberger. And if you think Eli Manning is a damn Hall of Famer, excuse me, if you think Eli Manning is a damn Hall of Famer, then fucking Ben Roethlisberger is up there with with Peyton Manning. Then I'll just say it like that. At least way better than Philip Rivers. But Brian Flores is a victim of what we know he's been a victim of. See, what I like about this situation is the fact that not only is it a situation where we say, hey, we thought that happened. We think that's going on. Now we're in a position to where, hey, let's try to prove it in court. Because that's the thing about that racism and that racism goal line. That racism goal line keeps moving forward and forward and forward. And you're just right there. You're just chasing and chasing and chasing and just keep moving the finish line on you. So it is a great thing for me to know that this may get to discovery, because one thing that Brian Flores did do that surprised a lot of people when they talk about, you need these characters characters in the story like Brian Flores in his story to be almost damn near saints. Here's some sainthood type shit. He didn't take the money. He didn't sign the NDA or whatever they do with NFL coaches when they fire him. Dan Quinn got fired by the damn Falcons, and we're still paying for him. I know you guys really understand how these contract situations really work out or whatnot. He didn't take a head coaching job after he lost his head coaching job, so he still gets a lot of money. Brian Flores turned that shit down because he obviously didn't like what was going on. During the season, we heard about Brian Flores basically alienating himself from the top brass or whatnot. And then later on with this lawsuit, we hear that they over here offering this man $100,000 to fucking lose. Of course, you would alienate yourself from that shit. Or you would stay as far away from that shit as possible and just focus on what you can do as a football team. And to that point, when you think about the other coaches that were on his team that he too allegedly alienated himself from, consider this. He doesn't know who's on his side. He doesn't know who has ownership's ear and who has the ear of ownership. I just said the same thing. He doesn't know who ownership has the ear of, and he don't know who has the ear of ownership. There are moles everywhere in all those situations. I mean, look at what happened with Mark Jackson over there with the Golden State Warriors. If you know, you know. I'm not gonna hash that out again. But Brian Flores is this guy who decided to stand on all 10 and say, hey, you did this to me, and to me, there's no way out of it. So what do you have, NFL? What will you do, NFL? What kind of band-aids will the NFL apply on this open wounds that seems to be racism within the league that is 70% black? As a matter of fact, I'll go on to say this. Why do we even talk about the fact that the NFL is 70% black? We should have more black. The league is 70% black. This will be the last thing I say about this situation. And then I'm out. How many places in America that are workforces where the workforce is 70% black and the owner said company looks like them? I'll wait. We out. Peace.